And we are here tuning in from Nashville. Patrick Carpenter, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Not too much, man. Dude, the weather looks nicer where you are than where I am. It's like 90-kilometer winds here.
Yeah, it looks great now. Over the last weekend, though, we unfortunately had about 12 to 15 inches of rain, I think, over the last few days. Had some really bad flooding on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Dude, I was driving home last night and I saw cars and trees. That should tell you how bad it was. So I'm very thankful to just be right here right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it was like tornado warnings or something, wasn't there?
Dude, it was literally everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I have never seen lightning like that.
That's
Like,
unreal.
yeah, yeah, which is kind of weird because about a year ago right now, we had the same thing happen.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, when I was seeing a bunch of people posting stuff and I was like, oh no, it's not happening again.
It's funny now after the last year or so how that stuff just doesn't even faze us anymore.
Yeah, that's
You know?
crazy.
Yeah.
So how's quarantine? Out in Nashville, you guys are pretty normal out there now, aren't you?
To an extent, there's still a mask mandate. There's still a capacity mandate. People are still being as safe and as smart as they possibly can be right now. But things are getting there. I was on Broadway about 2 weeks ago, and it was good to see bands playing live. It was good to see folks outside. So we're slowly but surely kind of getting a little bit back to normal right now.
Perfect. And what do you find like your biggest struggles have been during all this?
Oh man. I think the biggest struggle for myself and so many of us was just to connect with people. I always joke I'm like an extroverted introvert. Like I like people, but I need like a few days to just, have me also.
For sure.
But so just kind of being able to connect and find ways to do that over the last year has, at least for me, been the most challenging thing. The other thing is I love to write, I love to record, I love doing all that, but the opportunity to go out and play hasn't been there. I've been fortunate over the last month to have played about 8 or 10 gigs, and that's been great. Which is kind of crazy to think. Last year, I think I only got to about 6. And so I've already played more in the last month and a half than I did all of last year. And so, yeah.
Awesome. And where are you right now?
So let me give some context first. Part of my life is I am the assistant quarterbacks coach and sports information director for Lipscomb football here in Nashville. So I'm sitting literally in the press box, and there's our beautiful turf field right there. I thought this would look better, but instead I look like I just got stuck in the back shed somewhere. So yeah.
Awesome. I had to ask because I could see the reflection off the window. So I was like, where?
Yeah, it is a beautiful, it's one of the prettiest high school fields that I've seen in the state. We just got it put in going into last season. And yeah, it looks great. What I like about it, this is for all the football nerds out there, is that turf tends to be really hot because it's tires basically.
Right.
And so there's even like a coolant under it that helps to like keep it not miserable during the summer.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Awesome. What's it like working with Trent Dilfer?
What's it like working with Trent? You're talking about a guy who's got 15 years of playing in the NFL. He was a Heisman finalist, won a Super Bowl. He's been to the mountaintop. I've never met somebody more detailed, somebody just as passionate as somebody is about what they love.
For sure.
I hope my passion reflects out into whatever it is that I do, like it does with him. It's funny to kind of, I had 3 years of coaching experience coming here in 2019. Within a few weeks, I realized real quickly that I know nothing. And, it's funny to kind of think about football and how detailed you can obviously tell it's very detailed, but to even talk about the degree at how the quarterback places his foot on play action, that's a 30-minute conversation. And so it's been really interesting to get into and see just a little bit of the mind of somebody who played, in my opinion, the hardest position in sports.
Sure.
And to see how much of a grind this is every week. I will be going into my I'm losing count. I think my 6th year coaching now.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like I've learned in the past 2 seasons here what I would have learned in about 15 years of just coaching high school football.
For sure. And how did you get into all of that?
Yeah, football was always my vice. I love music, and I kind of needed something to kind of get me out of that. And I got into football heavily in high school. When I got to college, my first year at Mississippi State, there was a coach football class. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I can literally get an A for this. And so I took the class, and I loved it. I was not in Nashville, though, so I transferred to Lipscomb. And and then I began like a sports talk radio show where I kind of just talked about football constantly. And it grew into talking about like reactionary sports where kind of like you come in, after a game and you just freak out about it.
Sure.
I kind of more so love the like behind the scenes quarterback detailing stuff. And so my last year I needed another internship. So I got a coaching internship. And which was the same thing that like John Gruden did and so many other coaches. I was just kind of see what it was like. And so I began coaching at Franklin High School, and I loved it so much. I was there for 3 seasons. And, it's kind of funny to talk to somebody because really you don't think about music and sports blending like with each other in this level.
Right.
Like maybe you make a cool video or something, but that's it. And so, but I think these 2 things, man, I think they correlate so much. There's a grind with both of these things that I think are unparalleled. And so that's kind of how I fell into this craziness. What's cool about Trent, when I came in for the interview, I had no intentions to coach again. I got done with my 3rd year, and I just released my EP. It had done well. And I go into the interview with Trent. I got suit on, my boots on, looking as Nashville as I possibly can. And he asked me if I have any other interest. And I mentioned, well, I'm kind of a singer-songwriter, guitar player. And he bought my album right there. And cool. It was just, it's really cool to work for somebody who not only wants you to be successful here, but wants to prepare you to be successful out of here and wants to just see you grow. And it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
So, yeah, man. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So before COVID, you were opening for artists such as Sheryl Crow. You were selling out venues in your own name. Tell us about the experience with Sheryl Crow. Like, what was it like opening for her?
Man, that was a whirlwind. It was funny. The opportunity came, and I think me and my band had only played about 20 full band shows, maybe.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, man, are we actually like ready for this? And I said to myself, I was like, oh, heck yeah, we are. Like, there's no way I'm going to say no to this. We went out there, gave probably the best like 40 minutes of my whole life. When I got to meet her, I just have to say she is the most humble person that I've ever met to have had the success that she has.
For sure.
She wanted to talk to me about everything. And she just, which, you kind of don't always expect that from somebody who has a right to not be like that. You're talking about what, 10 Grammys, 30 #1 singles. And like, she could not have been the most humble person. I think what I learned from that was not only how to really be an even better entertainer, but that it really does matter like who you are as a person. And I became an even bigger fan of her just from that, just from knowing that she is as authentic as they can possibly come.
Nice. And is there a story that you have backstage that you're able to share that maybe no one knows as of today?
Well, so what's funny about it was these security folks were real like hard-nosed about, hey, don't be coming in and out. Don't be doing, like, don't mess with our process. Right. So I said, cool, I'm not leaving. And so I didn't leave the stage ever. We got done with our set, and I was like, I'm going to at least tell her thank you. Like, I have to say something. And so I I stayed backstage. This was probably one of the coolest things ever. They had she was only playing a handful of songs, but they brought all of the gear out, everything. It looked like an Eric Clapton Crossroads festival. There was so much gear.
Yeah.
And the guitar player had racks of guitars, basses, and everything. And inside the case was a set list from when that just said Wembley Stadium, July 27th, Eagles opening set. And it was their set list from opening with the Eagles. And I was like, why am I here? Like, this makes no sense. And you know, it was funny when I kind of pushed my way up to the green room and I got in, and she just turns around and she goes, "You must be Patrick." And that was when I was just like, okay, wow. And that was when, you know, we began to talk. And you know, it's really hard to kind of see somebody that's so successful like that. And I kind of had the same thing with Trent too. Like, it's so hard to see somebody so successful be so humble. Yeah. And it's a great experience. And you know, it just kind of, to me, that just teaches you, no matter how much success that you get, just keep being who you are. And authenticity, to me, speaks a lot.
It goes a long way, I think. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's talk music now. I got a long list of your stuff here. 2019, your album Friday Night Hallelujah debuted at number 3 on the iTunes singer-songwriter charts.
Yeah.
I think just recently you passed 2 million streams as well.
I did, last Saturday.
Nice. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
And then this past year, you've released 5 songs: Looking Like a Heartbreak, Bottle Time, Meet Mama, Waiting, and Down to the Water, which are all a part of your new upcoming album, Chasing Me, which we can expect in June.
I'm planning 2nd, 3rd, or 4th weekend of June.
Okay, perfect. Well, tell us about this album, kind of how everything's come together.
Yeah, we talked about quarantine a little bit at the beginning. That's what I did. I wrote. I was not going to allow for a year of my life to pass by and not do anything.
Yep.
I think the easy answer for myself and so many of us was just keep on writing. And I wrote Meet Mama and a few other songs, and we went into the studio. The really cool thing about my process is I'm produced by Brent Ryder, and Brent was the band leader for Joe Nichols for a long time and one of the most talented people I've ever met. And when he does projects for people, he plays everything. So when the whole like 10 to 12 person limit came, there's only me and him in there, so we could record as much as we wanted to.
Nice.
So I recorded a couple of songs at the beginning of last year, expecting them to just be singles. And I kind of like the process of, okay, cool, here's 2 songs, here's 1 more. A few months go by, hey, here's 2 more songs. And next thing I knew, I've got like 8 songs, 10 songs, 12 songs. And then I just sent in the last 4 songs. And so it was kind of an interesting way to look at an album where there was no immediate pressure to get this done.
For sure.
And it really allowed me to take my time with it. The biggest lesson I learned from the first album is that, you know, we live in this age now of Spotify and streaming, and so like every song really does matter. And so there's a couple of songs from the first record I kind of said, you know, I kind of wish I didn't do that. And with this one, I didn't want to make that same mistake. I wanted every song to have its own meaning, and for every song to have a reason to be there.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, man, I never really planned on doing a second album this soon. I didn't really plan on, especially with just the way that the industry has shifted to not just kind of stop doing singles. And so, but it just kind of fell this way. I'm very happy about it. I love this album. I think it shows so much growth from the first one. Not just, I think in the first album, I was writing songs to get to the guitar solo, that this time it was like, no, let's write these songs for the song. Sure. And I think that, and I hate to say it, I think it kicks the first album just out the water.
Perfect.
And yeah.
Nice. And do you find yourself, you know, with the quarantine and stuff, do you find that you were more creative during all of this, being able to write without the life experiences and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think so. There were a handful of songs from the first album that I kind of wrote a couple of years before that. So there had been life experiences that I really hadn't touched on yet.
Okay.
My life going into quarantine was kind of just going crazy. Like you go from opening to Sheryl Crow in August to headlining in Philly, Mississippi. I was in Washington, like January of last year. It feels like it was forever now, but like there was so much leading up to it that I didn't really ever unpack.
Right.
And so this kind of gave me the opportunity to really sit around and think. And yeah.
Nice. Awesome. And how come you named it Chasing Me?
Chasing Me, that's a great one. How do I do this without talking about the song? Because there's so many, because I like it. Okay, here's the best way I can say it. There are trends in country music. There's trends right now that I don't necessarily like. I would love to tell you, man, that I was raised on like Waylon, Willie and Cash. I wasn't. I was raised on Brooks and Dunn, Kenny Chesney, Brad Paisley, Keith Urban. And it felt like there was times in the first record where I was chasing the trends at the time.
Okay.
And with this one, I said, we've had a little bit of success, but I was like, if I'm going to keep doing this, I want to keep doing what I want to do. And Meet Mama is this like 2003-4 vein of country music where there's a little bit of pop in it, but it's very like, it still sounds very natural is the best way I can say it. Like there's a fiddle, there's a train beat, like there's all of that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wanted to say, like, there's a piece of me that said, I just want to keep chasing me, like chase who I want to be.
Okay.
The song Chasing Me is about me running into my ex in October of last year. This is a girl that I plan to marry. This was a girl that I plan to spend the rest of my life with. And since we broke up, she got married a couple of years ago. And when I ran into her that day and I saw the ring and everything, I was like, yeah, I guess I finally stopped running to you and I began to chase me. And I was kind of like, that's really what this whole album's been about. It's like maybe not so much twisting my arm to get to the next trend in country, maybe not me being overly pop, like more pop than I want to be, and that, I really hope these songs come from a real place. Like that's what I truly hope. So
okay, nice. Yeah. And you're saying you don't want to talk too much about the song, but you do have it.
We can talk about it. I mean, I would love
it. Yeah. So you have a new one also called Chasing Me.
Right. Yeah.
When can we expect that one?
I think I'm going to drop it all at the same time. But I will say this: when you pre-order the album, there's a tease. You can get the song immediately, and so that's going to be one of two songs that you can download immediately if you do the pre-order. So,
okay, and is it ready to pre-order now, or when will that be?
It'll be ready to pre-order in about a month.
In about a month?
Yeah.
Perfect. And what's that song about? Pretty much the same general.
Chasing Me, yeah. Was I ran into her and I said, I just kind of want to start to just chase me. What I love about it as a songwriter is the chorus flip-flops around.
Yeah.
If you listen to the lyrics, it said, who thought that losing you would end up freeing me? Who thought that, who said love was blind, can't see what I see? And I think for so long, I allowed myself to hold myself back. And that's really what I'm kind of saying there. I think most of us, whether it's a relationship, it's a job, it's school, it's something, we've all had something in our lives that we have allowed ourselves to hold ourselves back. And I don't know about you, but for me, man, like the best things in my life have happened two ways. It's either by accident or it's been me just allowing things to be. And that's kind of what I just wanted for this song to be about.
And you just like allowing things to be, like just letting it happen, letting it do its thing, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what's happening on my end. I kind of just letting it do its thing. If something happens, great. And it seems to be working that way.
Yeah, right. I mean, like I joke about things happening by accident,
Yes.
but I think that's a part of that too,
I agree.
where, I think I mean, look at where I'm at. I'm working with a guy who knows a billion times more football than me, but it's just the opportunities there. And I think instead of, it's a fine line where you still have to keep working, like, but you still like take the opportunity. I think, and this is a weird kind of example, but I think the reason why people in sports, after they get drafted, don't do well is because they got the opportunity because of the hard work that they did. It's not because necessarily of who they can be. It's what you did.
Right.
And the reason they fail at the next level is because they didn't keep on working. And so it's easy to say, yeah, I got to open for a 20-time Grammy winning artist. I'm working for a guy who's going to teach me more football than I've ever known. But then it's, okay, once you get hired, once you get the gig, what are you going to do after that?
That's right.
And so, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, man. So with the
here's my sermon.
hey, with the release coming up, what's next for you in the music scene?
Right now, that's kind of it. The reason I waited to release it, I probably had all these songs written about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to release a full project without getting to gig for it. I saw that happen with a few friends last year who worked so hard on their albums and then they weren't able to go out and play it. And I didn't want that to happen here. And so the next steps is just kind of figuring out where each state is. I've been fortunate to find a nice little crowd of people at these places that I've gone to. And so I would love to go out and travel again during the summer.
Yep.
Just with the way, the world is right now, I don't know when that will be, but right now it's just about finishing this project up, and just continue to promote it and work and keep it going.
Cool, man. And last thing, for those who don't know, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at all accounts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It is at Pat Carp Music. Follow me on Instagram and keep up with everything. So
cool, man. All right, man. Well, thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm sure once we can travel, I'll be down there soon.
Dude, please. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll
come say hey.
Something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks again. Everyone go grab Patrick Carpenter's, pre-order it when it comes out in about a month.
Yeah, I would say the last week of April. Yep.
Last week of April.
That's another reason to just follow me on Instagram.
Absolutely. Keep an eye out for when it's coming and make sure you guys go grab that. And Patrick, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.
We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right.